It's kind of wild, like when you look at it, because like I just conceptually hate the idea of having to be a selling club, especially given the Philadelphia market. You're not a small market team. The idea here, I don't think, was ever for this to be a totally small market club. I think that if Don Garber had his feet held to the fire, he would admit that he's probably very frustrated with the Jay Sugarman ownership and the fact that this team doesn't splurge Boku bucks. It's just not good for the league to have one of your biggest market clubs not spend. There is no reality in which Sugarman changes course. There's no reality unless they take on additional investors, which it seems like to this point he's been largely against. There was that minority stake that Kevin Durant ended up buying in the team when he couldn't get a share of DC United. But like, that's not anything really notable. You know, you talk about being a selling team and having younger guys that you develop. Like a Jack McGlynn comes to mind, right? That's a guy that people had a lot of high hopes for. That's a guy that many people viewed to be a kind of not totally a cornerstone, but certainly a very important piece of what it seemed like they were building with Jim Curtin. Curtin gets the axe. Carnell comes in, and now McGlynn is on the outs. He gets dealt away. Gazdag maybe had a down year last year, but has still been one of your most consistent players, one of your most dangerous players. How do you make sense or heads of tails of first the McGlynn move and then this one as well with Gazdag?
You know, with Jack, it's interesting because all along, as I understand it, Europe was the goal, right? He was one of the two Olympians, and to have two Olympians in one roster for the United States it's an unbelievable achievement. So it's a gigantic, check mark or whatever ribbon that you would get on field day type of thing for the Philadelphia Union. I'm sure they're going to boast the hell about it for till the world ends. But for him, the move sort of made sense, right? Someone who's still very, very young, worth a good chunk of change, but unfortunately did not fit the system new head coach Bradley Carnell implemented, right? He's looking for athletic players who are going to push on the Union's offensive third, the defensive first part, I guess, of the field for the other team. And making sure that they flip the ball over so they can go ahead and cross something in or find the ball on top of the 18 and put a through ball in. And all metrics are showing that it's working. They're leading the team in doing that this season so far. So they're the number one team in forcing teams to flip the ball over in the final third. And honestly, I don't think that many people, I miss him because he was such a generous and kind person with me in terms of time and chatting, interviewing, sharing information, etc. That all of this early success has helped forget about him in a way, right? And then you flip the page and you look at what he's doing in Houston and how not so great things are going in Houston. It's been interesting. And to get $2 million and having to split it up in interesting ways and taking advantage of this new cash for player market, which is very new for this league. It's run of the mill for every other league. You sort of just take it because otherwise you don't want to get into the situation. We can talk about it more, but a player just walking away on a free transfer and just missing out on any type of, prize at the end of the road for them.
Now it's interesting because the number that's being floated out around Gazdag is surprising to me. And I saw that you went with it, and then Tansy, I think, had it out there. Then I saw Tannewald kind of did the, can confirm or whatever. I have to tell you though, and I'm not going to put you in a bad spot because you're not saying this. I am. I fucking hate when media people go, can confirm. Fuck off. All right. Get the news or retweet the other person or, as first reported by whatever. I hate the can confirms. It pisses me off. I don't know why. It's like, do the work to get the report. I don't even know if you do it. And if you do, stop it. But I don't think you do. But like, just seeing people say like, oh, just following up on this report or, can confirm the earlier report. Like, stop. Just stop. Anyway, $4 million for Gazdag. Is that real?
Well, I can confirm that I don't do what you're suggesting. So maybe I'm in your good graces.
Good guy.
I also find it fucking, I think we can curse. Yeah, it's your
yes,
show.
You can. Yes,
it's fucking dumb. I refuse to do it. If anything, I just say per so and so. Like I'm not gonna say correct. I can confirm that so and so is correct. It's like, of course they're correct. Like, yeah, I trust them and they're legit. So I don't do that. But in regards to the figure, and in talking to sources, and I have two, and maybe I'm old school journalist, whatever type of thing. Like I don't really write unless I have two or three. And I was asked not to post about it, but once the numbers started flying from other people, it's like, fair. Let's just go with it. I've heard 4 million guaranteed with $500,000 in incentives. And Russ, I don't think you need to be a Wall Street person, but when you flip $1.9 million, which is what was reported for Gazdag in 2021, I think, and you flip it into almost $4.5 million, I think that's pretty good business, especially for a guy who, at the end of the season, as I understand it, I don't think that they were really interested in picking up that club option because of what the salary hike was going to be. I think this is pretty savvy. The biggest issue is where he is landing. It's not the number. It's where he is landing within the league.
Yeah, I mean, he's landing in the Eastern Conference with a team that has been absolutely deadly in Columbus. So you traded him within your conference, and it's not like you traded him to a bottom feeder. So it's a questionable decision. And at the same time, if you are a franchise that for whatever reason just doesn't seem to have the money or the willingness to spend that money, bringing $4 million back is huge, as long as it doesn't just go to the academy. We love the academy, but it can't be the only thing that you do. That has been the long-held frustration, I think, among a lot of fans here. And, in fairness, the media, they won't print it often, but they certainly say it amongst one another in the press box. It's like, why won't this team spend? Now, in fairness, I'll try to be fair to Jay Sugarman. Help me. God help me. But like in recent years, they have put out and broken at least one record from club history of spending on a player to bring them in. But then you look at it and you go, and that happened earlier this year. And then you look at the signing and you go, it doesn't even crack the top 100 in MLS history. So it's like, to say that there was a low bar on how much the Union had been willing to put out for a player would be quite the understatement. But like, all right, where do you think the 4 million goes? Like, love Ernst Tanner. I am very much of the belief he might be the best or second best front office executive in the city. People don't totally understand that because not a lot of people follow the Union. You can say Howie, he built 2 Super Bowl teams. You could certainly try to make the case that, I don't know, like Briere's trying to do a rebuild. You could make a case. You can't fucking make a case for Daryl Morey. I don't really think can make a compelling case for Dave Dombrowski right now. But if you wanted to say Howie and like Ernst Tanner's right there, Tanner doesn't have the unlimited kind of money that the Eagles have and the ability to kind of rework around the cap. In theory, the Union could spend more money. They don't. Ernst is working within this very strict framework, and yet he's always able to find these diamonds in the rough, and he's done it so consistently. Do you think that Sugarman says, all right, 4 million, have fun. Like, go find that DP. Go find the guy that's going to replace Gazdag. Go find the thing that we need more than anything. Or does it become like, all right, here's $1 million for a potential player, 3 million to the academy?
Gosh, if I'm going to use let's just look at the past 365 days, right, of transfers, right? And sure, like we can even go back further and maybe even pad the case a little bit more in Ernst's side. Kai Bagner, guy was playing in the 3rd division of Germany, came and has torn it up, right? Like leading year in and year out. But even if you shorten the scope and you look at Danley Jean-Jacques, a Haitian who was in France, who at one point, as I understand it, was getting, or FC Metz out in Ligue 1 in France, they were getting offers for him for $5 million. Turns out then that apparently he had a few bad performances, whatever you want to call them. Then FC Metz goes ahead and gets relegated to the 2nd division of the French pyramid. And the Union swoop in with $1.5 million, and they get an outstanding player who has really, honestly, like really shore up that midfield after Jose Martinez. Like no complaints there. Fast forward to this offseason, Jovan Lukic, who they found in the pits of Serbia, playing for Spartak Subotica in the 1st division of Serbia.
Doesn't sound real.
No, it doesn't, right? It sounds made up. For $800,000, it's reported. He has already played every single match, played all but probably like 20 minutes of the 7 or 8 matches so far this season, has scored 2 worldies, as they call it, in terms of goals, and honestly looked like an all-star caliber midfield alongside Danley. Can't complain about that. Bruno Damiani, the player you were referring to as the top signing that the Union have made in terms of record spending, has all the signs of being a top goal scorer. And I'm not one for the, drooling over the new metrics of expected goals and expected assists. I feel like those have a place, but honestly, most of them are just frankly bullshit that I don't fall for. Just metrics for metrics' sake. He's a very talented player who has been incredible at getting the team to where they are in terms of the pressure in the final third and making sure to use his body to find other players in the midfield once they win it up top, as well as getting himself in a good spot to potentially score, and has already scored in his very first appearance. Has all the signs to be another great player. So with Daniel moving to Columbus, I think the biggest part for them is finding the replacement and making sure that it lands. But again, based on everything I just told you, I have no reason to believe that Ernst and Chris Zitterbart, who's the brand new scouting director who joined from Colorado Rapids, and also the former scouting director who's still within the walls of the Philadelphia Union, and John Shear, now the academy director and Union 2 director, I guess you would call it. He's also within the wall. So you get all that brain trust. I have no reason to believe that they can't find a suitable replacement for, even if it is pennies on the dollars compared to other teams. I can't hate the man right now considering the way he's hitting. He's playing with house money.
They are so incredibly lucky, and I don't know how much Ernst makes right now, but whatever Jay Sugarman has to do to keep this guy here, as long as he wants to be here, is going to be critical. Like, if you're Jay Sugarman, you should wake up every day thanking a few people. If you want to thank God, you thank God for the morning. You have a spouse or kids or whatever, Jay, you thank them for bringing you joy, right? You certainly thank the Russ Joy Show for providing your entertainment every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you thank Jose for his fair and balanced coverage of your team. But somewhere in there, you have to thank Ernst Tanner for being able to find these guys and for being able to bring you a legitimate MLS Cup contender again. I mean, listen, it feels like a long time ago. It was 3 years ago that the Union made it into MLS Cup, and we're just not going to talk about letting Gareth Bale have a free run at the far post. We're not going to do that. We're not going to slander Mbiza, who cannot go fucking pound sand. We're not going to do that. But the fact that in the couple of years they did sort of run it back, it didn't exactly work. They've kind of retooled, and I listen. Jim Curtin was a nice guy. I played in the media game a few years ago. Talked to Jim. I had very long been a Jim Curtin critic. Talking to the guy, getting a little bit more context, I guess, about like the organization as a whole and about what he was kind of working. I had a lot more respect after talking to the guy. And yet I don't necessarily think that Jim Curtin was one who could like out tactic the opposition. I think that he was a good manager of egos, was a good manager of talent. I wouldn't say that he was like a dynamic mind. I don't know if Carnell is either, in fairness. Like, I don't exactly know what this guy is yet. It's not like he's found an abundance of success and has won multiple trophies. So I'm not saying that I'm like head over heels for that hire. I didn't think they were going to go out and make a big time hire. But it's kind of hard to argue with the results, at least early, right? And so you put that guy and you put this system together, and you have this guy in Ernst Tanner who's able to find this value and very clearly adapt on the fly to knowing what Carnell's system is going to be and how different it'll be versus Curtin. And like, he's making unpopular moves, but if they ultimately work out, maybe you get later on in the season and you're not exactly weeping for the loss, the trade of Gazdag. I don't know, man. It's a weird place to be. Like, to have faith in both the coach and the front office after it seemed like they might have been making some mistakes. I don't know.